Hello and welcome to Science for Today. Tomorrow, our science class is going to be a Zoom session instead. So, because I'm giving you a little bit more time to work on getting everything ready for social studies. So, I was thinking tomorrow we could do our Zoom at 1 o'clock rather than 2 o'clock since we're only going to be having one lesson tomorrow. Okay, first of all, for science, for the Human Sundial Lab, if your name is highlighted, I have everything that I need from you. If your name is not highlighted, it means that you're missing something. So maybe it is the application. Maybe it is the analysis, okay? Or possibly it is even your the setup of the or it was the setup of your actual like graph that you had made. So go into Seesaw and double check also the comments, because sometimes people just like pose something that was not answering the questions that were related. So if your name wasn't highlighted there, you need to go back and check that you have done everything. Okay. Tomorrow on our Zoom session, I'm going to have these people kind of hold back for a second if you haven't done everything today, just to make sure that we're fine for everything tomorrow. So I'm going to give science task done for those people. Okay. Alrighty. Now, next thing for today's lesson is you need to have out your COIL book. People who do not have your COIL book, you need to send me a message on Edmodo so that I'm able to send you these pages, because you need to have them for the work. Okay, so the next page should look like this: drawing of the moon phases. So this one starts off really easy today, which is just where all that you have to do is just shade this in. Okay, this is review. We kind of did our moon phases in two different sections. Once was learning about them, what they are, and then today we're going to be learning, and like this week, we're going to be learning about how they actually happen. So to warm up as a review, you need to do this page, okay? So this is where new moon, okay, the moon is almost directly between the sun and the earth, the start of a new cycle. So what would we be able to see if it was a new moon? This would mean that we would have nothing, right? So you need to color the whole entire thing in dark, because we don't see anything when it's a new moon. Then waxing crescent moon, it gives you the description right here. A bit of sunlight on the side of the moon on the right side. Okay, so everything would be dark except a little tiny bit of light on the right hand side. Okay, so that is the first thing that you are going to be doing today, is filling this in. You could probably even do this like now, basically. It shouldn't be too hard to do because it's review. And we're gonna watch a quick video, which is a good explanation of the moon phases.
Each time you look at the moon, it's going to look a little different. Sometimes you'll see the entire moon, other times you'll see just a portion of it. In this video, I'd like to go over why the moon looks the way it does, and a few other things about the moon's orbit. The moon takes about a month to orbit the Earth. The sun can only shine on half the moon at any given time. Since the moon orbits at exactly the same rate as it spins, we only see one side of the moon from the Earth. The side we don't see is usually called the far side of the moon. You can also call it the dark side of the moon, but it's not always dark, so this name can be a bit confusing. I'm going to show a split screen here to show things from two different views. On the left-hand side of the screen, I'll show a top-down view. On the right-hand side of the screen, I'll show what it looks like from Earth.
Cool.
When the moon is closest to the sun, the side of the moon facing the Earth is dark.
Okay, new moon. That's the first one.
Sunlight reflects off the Earth, so we can still see the moon if we look closely. We refer to this as a new moon.
There we go.
As the moon comes around, we start to see a tiny sliver of the moon. This is called the waxing crescent.
Okay, so that's what the first picture should look like.
Half the moon. We can call this a half moon, but more specifically, it's called a first quarter because we are a quarter of the way through the phases. A few more days, and only a small portion of the moon is not lit up. This is called the waxing gibbous. When the moon is on the other side of the Earth, it is completely lit. This is called a full moon, and it's probably the phase that you're most familiar with. Now the light begins to fade. We mirror the previous phases. Here's the waning gibbous, the third quarter, the waning crescent, and back to a new moon. Here's some tricks to remembering the phases. Waxing means the sunlit portion is increasing. Waning means the sunlit portion is decreasing. Crescent is where the moon is mostly dark, and gibbous is where the moon is mostly lit. Let's make sure we're accurate. The Earth is rotating once a day, tilted by 23.5 degrees. I'm gonna bring back my good friend Bob here, who lives in North America.
Okay.
Bob can't always see the moon.
Okay. That is all that we're gonna watch today for that, because we're gonna watch a little bit more of it later. Okay. So that was a great explanation of what, each phase of the moon. Okay. So this is what you were doing today. And then on Seesaw, I'm going to put up this. Okay, so I do not think that this is in your booklet, but maybe it is. I actually don't have my booklet here with me. So if you do this in your booklet, cool. And then you can also please do this on Seesaw. Okay, so that is it for our science lesson today. It's just that little bit getting us warmed up, and then it's gonna get harder and harder over the next couple of days. Okay, so there you go.